Thank you all for being here. My name is Laura High. I have the great joy and privilege of being a stand-up comic, an activist, and a social media content creator. But today, I come to you as a descendant of Holocaust survivors. My family fought in the Polish underground. The Polish underground was the Polish resistance in World War II. These were not trained soldiers. These were farmers, butchers, cobblers, children, husbands, and wives who had one common goal: to defend their country. My entire family volunteered to fight in the Polish underground. They didn't have to. They were Polish Catholic aristocracy. They could have just stayed quiet. They could have kept their head down and survived the war. But that's not who they were. They would not stand by as their fellow countrymen were slaughtered. My great-grandfather led the battalion Owaza for the underground. My two great aunts were nurses for the underground. My great-uncle Renyo was a code breaker. My grandfather Myron and my great-uncle Gucho were scouts and soldiers for the underground. This symbol that I hold up for you today is the symbol of the Polish underground. This is the symbol of ordinary citizens becoming extraordinary by coming together to fight tyranny, oppression, and the original Nazis. I raise it today as a symbol, not just to call upon the descendants of the underground, but all of the descendants of survivors to become one community. So whether or not you are a descendant of the underground, the Holocaust, or you are a descendant of Stonewall, a descendant of the Civil Rights Movement, or the internment camps of residential schools, of any genocide or oppression, I call to you to be on the front line with me. We were taught by our elders what this is. I know I am not alone when I say I can hear my ancestors telling me what is coming and what we must do. We must stand together as descendants of survivors from all backgrounds, from all walks of life, and hold the line that our family first drew for us. As they did what was needed to protect future generations, we must rise up and do the same. I always wondered how my grandfather did what he did and found the courage to do it. But now I know it is because there was no other choice. And as we stare into the darkness hand in hand with each other today, I would like to remind everybody what we are fighting for. And the best way for me to do that is tell you what saved my grandfather's life all those years ago. He was 10 years old when he volunteered for the underground. He was planting booby traps at 11. He was stealing weapons at 12. He was passaging messages to the Jewish community inside the ghetto at 13. And he fought in the Warsaw Uprising at 14. He was captured and he was sent to Auschwitz with his brother as a political prisoner. He was tortured in Auschwitz. And then he was sent to Mauthausen, survived a death march, and then was finally liberated. He found his way back home. He found his mother was still alive. He found his brother Renyo was murdered. He found his father died in battle. He found out his two sisters were sent to a work camp and were victims of science experiments. He was angry. He was filled with rage. He wanted to hurt people. But his mother, my great-grandmother Helena, saw the poison coursing through his body. and she took him aside, and she said, Merrick, if they have taught you to hate, then they have won the war. And he said in that moment, his life was saved. And he turned away from the darkness, and he never looked back. So, as we are today, staring into the darkness, facing it off, looking at the apocalypse in its face, we must not forget who we are. The darkness will try to change us because that is what they want. They want us to hate the world as much as they hate themselves. They will try and make us forget our humanity, our morals, and our values, and snuff out the light that each of us carry within. No matter what they do, do not forget we are the ones fighting for compassion, for family, for community, for neighbors, for equality, for workers, for authenticity, for art, for freedom, and for love. Do not let them teach you to hate. Do not let them win the war. So yes, we must stand strongly. We must fight bravely. And we must love fiercely. My name is Laura High, and thank you for standing with us today.